"Lace on the tray," said Oliver, closing the door. "You scored quite a hit there, too. I seem to remember reading in some magazine or other that you are fluent in 9 languages. Can that be true?" "Thing of it is," said Simon, helping himself to a biscuit, "I spent so much time learning languages that I never learned to count, so I couldn't tell you how many I speak." Oliver smiled dryly. "You're probably wondering," Simon went on, "absolutely delicious biscuits, by the way, simply melt in the mouth, how on earth I could know that Barson Garland had been trying to seduce you." That question had crossed my mind. I haven't bugged the tables or bribed the Thursday waiters at Mark's Club, no need to worry about that. No, the fact is that dear old Barson Garland was also flirting with me. Bit of a two-timing whore, that one. "I see. He wasn't sure whether to go public or private, you see. His instincts were actually quite sound in that respect. Which way will the world go? Some think that governments should oversee the formation of a global internet police force. Many are afraid that this is exactly what will happen and scream about privacy and civil liberties. You're probably aware that the recent spate of viruses, worms, mail bombs and portal attacks has led the international community to one inevitable and irrevocable conclusion. They can't do anything about it. Nothing will work. It's too expensive, it's too impractical. The legal ramifications of borders, copyright treaties and so on are complex and insoluble. The only answer is for private enterprise at local corporate levels to do its own policing, its own firewalling, its own vaccinating and prophylaxis. Only the private sector can cross the borders. Only the private sector has the resources and the power to take the responsibility. The post of head of internet security at Cotter.com takes on a greater meaning than ever before. Frankly, even if Cosima had not gone mad, I would still be offering you this position. That, if you had not guessed, is what I am doing. It's frankly the same job that Ashley Barson Garland offered you, but it's bigger. It's real, it's now, it's free of political interference, and it carries embarrassingly good pay. I do need an answer soon, however. I'm off to Africa later this morning, and I'd love to know that you can start work as soon as you've cleared it with your people. In the meantime, I'm absolutely dying for a slash. You couldn't... Oh, yes, of course. Through there. Second door on the right. Do try one of those biscuits. So light. They can't do your diet the least bit of harm. Simon left the room and crossed the landing as directed. As he passed the stairs, he noticed that the stair lift had moved from the bottom of the staircase to the top. A half-open door caught Simon's eye, and he pushed it open and went in. Alone and immobile, Oliver Delft's mother sat on a wheelchair, facing a window that overlooked the square. Simon came and stood beside her. Her eyes rolled up towards him. It seemed to Simon that her face was capable of showing some expression, for he thought he detected a gleam of surprised pleasure. "Philippa Blackrow," he whispered. "How strange to meet you. I'm Ned Madstone. Do you know that you are responsible for the destruction of my life? Do you know that because of you I spent 20 years imprisoned in an insane asylum? 20 years because of you and your cunt of a son?" Breath hissed and bubbled from Philippa's lungs, and he could sense the strain in her as she tried to mobilize her sagging cheeks and drooping mouth into some shape that might move towards speech. Saliva ran from her lips, and her clawed and wasted hands shook like dried leaves in a storm. "I was to have delivered a letter to you from your Fenian friends. Of all the people in the world, it was your son who intercepted it. That is how cruel fate can be. To protect you and to save his own worthless skin, he hid me away to rot amongst the mad forever. And now I have come back. I am much crueler than fate. I thought you should know that. Infinitely more cruel. They tell me that inside this lifeless carcass your mind is fully active. Now it has something to ponder on for the rest of its days. Goodbye." The last picture of Philippa that Simon took away with him was of a mother down whose withered cheeks tears were flowing. He did not see, as he flushed the lavatory and crossed the landing to return to Oliver, that her mouth was trying to force itself into a smile, and he could not know that the tears dropping from her eyes were tears of joy.